You're listening to the International Luxury Hotel Association's webinar series, where the biggest names in luxury hospitality come together to shape the future of the industry. With over 500,000 members worldwide and our Inspire conference in Europe and the US at the end of the year, we continue to drive the conversation in luxury hospitality. Today's webinar, in partnership with Visiting Media, explores how immersive technology and AI are reshaping hospitality sales and guest engagement. We're thrilled to have Yasha Kakis-Wolf, CEO of Visiting Media, to share how these innovations are changing the way hotels connect with and inspire their guests.
Welcome. We appreciate you taking time with us today. Thank you on behalf of the International Luxury Hotel Association and my guest today, Maria Donat. I'm going to start with a little bit of an overview of what we're going to spend our time on. We'll be with you for about 20 to 25 minutes. We want you to leave today with three really important takeaways. The first is help you see how you can use storytelling as a critical part of your business owning a hospitality luxury business. Second, we want to focus on the evolving nature of the way that hospitality and luxury hospitality in particular is thinking about selling. We'll spend some time with Maria talking about how she and her team use immersive assets to help them deliver more value to their customers and ultimately a better experience overall. And then, as probably is top of mind for all of you, is definitely top of mind for the two of us, which is to focus on how we continue to maintain the important humanity in the interactions that we have with our guests and our customers, in spite of the fact that we see a rapid evolution of technology around us. So we will talk about AI in particular and AI's relationship into the industry that we're in. My name is Yasha Kakis-Wolf. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Visiting Media. We're an organization based in North America who focuses on empowering hotels and lodging generally with the best immersive assets in the world and provide the easiest way to take those assets and bring them out into the world, integrating into your websites, into third-party sites and in other areas to help improve the experience that you provide for your guests and your customers. But I'm not here to talk about myself. We're here really to highlight the amazing work that Maria and her team are doing. So to begin with, Maria, I'd love to hear a little bit about who you are, what you bring to the table. And then I want to ask you a little bit about Hyatt, because by the way, I'm a huge fan. Maybe you and I mentioned this in a previous discussion. I'm a Hyatt globalist. I care about the experience that I receive from Hyatt overall. And I always have a great experience with what you and your team put forward. So I'm an appreciative customer. So I'm excited to get started today.
Thank you, Joshua. And I'm also a big fan of Hyatt, as I've been already over 20 years with the company. As you said, my name is Maria Donat. Thank you for the invitation to be with you here today. I'm based in Zurich, Switzerland, and I'm leading the digital content team for Hyatt EME, which covers Europe, Africa, and Middle East. My hospitality career started with guest-facing roles, and this connection with guests gave me a big and deep appreciation for how important it is to connect with guests, to hear feedback, and now, 20 years later, to implement that in a digital way. So what we do in our team is really find the best way to feature not only the unique selling points of our hotels, but things which can spark imagination and can really inspire hotel guests to travel, to come to visit us, as well to experience things they haven't done or haven't seen before. So it's not just about building the presence on World Wide Web, but it's about driving inspiration and showcasing the great service, the great buildings, and the great offerings we have in our portfolio.
I think it's incredibly exciting to have spent 20 years in one organization. You've been able to, I imagine, travel quite a bit and spend different times in different properties and work with different teams across Hyatt. Do you have a favorite thing about Hyatt? Is it the experience that you've had in different management positions there? Is it properties that you go to? Like, what do you take home to your family and talk about that you're most excited about with Hyatt right now?
Um, I mean, when you look back, it's always in every row. I've been now in more than 9 or 10 rows during these 20 years, but in every row there was kind of inspirational part where I learned something new. But when I look back, I really loved the beginning of my career when everything was brand new. And one of my first positions was a hostess at the reception and later on guest relation manager. So what I loved about this job was that I could present the hotel to the guests. So I could guide them to their room, show them the beautiful spaces we have, F&B, spa, and so on, but also share with them my favorite spots. And when we would arrive, for example, in their suite or room, I will show them from which corner of the guest room they can see the sunset, because I've been doing as well room service back then, and I knew exactly every corner of this room and from which corner of the room I can see the landscape or the Philharmonie, for example, at Grand Hyatt Berlin. So this was my favorite part. And what I will never forget back then was the feedback guests gave me was very often that they wish they could have known ahead or planned more time so they can experience all these offerings we have in a hotel, but as well in a city. And
Yeah.
this is very, very dear and very important to me when I build and think about digital experience today, because the customer journey now very often ends like accommodation is not at the beginning, but by showcasing some great offerings, experiences in the spaces, and let people dream, vision, and plan, then we can shape a very different experience when they arrive in our property. And this is what I'm as well
Yeah.
trying to do with your assets, with different content to spark and to get this magic online, which I did in person back then.
Yeah. Well, I love that. So first of all, I've been to your first hotel that you're in. Berlin's one of my favorite places to go travel to. It's a lovely property. But I'll say that the area that I think is very complicated for those that are in marketing who have never spent time owning an experience like you do is this notion of storytelling. Like what you just described in that first role that you had as a hostess in Berlin is helping someone understand what they should see and where the value that they're going to get is in the experience that they're about to have. That's storytelling. It's the most kind of practical atomic unit, that connection between two people. I think it's difficult sometimes for marketing organizations to take that idea of how do I have the personal connection and expand it out to tell the story about how many people can experience the thing that you so intimately were able to tell that one individual guest. It leads us into our first part of the discussion today, I think, very nicely. Storytelling is incredibly important for brands in all industry, but in hospitality, I think it lands even heavier and it's even more important as we think about the luxury segment in particular. It is a crowded market. There are lots of new and interesting brands that are continually popping up, lots of products within those brands, like properties in particular, that are popping up often, lots of refurbishments that are happening. That crowded luxury market requires a compelling hospitality story to stand out. So as you think about how do you own the narrative, what's most critical in you taking responsibility for as a brand versus what do you let have happen with a third party? So that's the discussion I'd love to have us begin with. Why is owning your narrative so critical? And how do you think about what do you need to own specifically as a brand manager, as a marketer, as a host, versus what can you allow a third party to help you with?
Yes, it's a very, I think, very hot topic always in our hospitality and as well in digital, because we always talk about drive direct and our narrative. And we have even invented a digital content score for all of our 200, over 200 properties in 40 countries, because with this scale, we have seen that we have to own our narrative. And we have beautiful canvas on our website because we know our brands, brand promise, brand feel, And this is where our hotel and our offerings can really live and show the whole experience, which a guest can later on, once they step into digitally on our brand.com, can experience later on as well in on property. So
Yeah.
as we are in e-commerce, it's different because you can just showcase the product, maybe a chair or a mug from different perspective and angles, and say that's it. But we are talking here about experiences, which is so human, and it's so fluid. And that's why I think having our narratives and everything what we have to showcase on brand.com and inspiring and show, and even when before people or our customer would book, just to maybe to come up with itineraries and suggestions, or maybe even to choose a different destination, because we
Yeah.
want to bring value to them. It's not about a push in marketing, it's about creating memories. And this is why I think on on third parties, this is not coming across as it is on our hire.com, on brand.com, and with
Yeah.
all the integrations and things we have developed.
Could we talk a little bit about what you've developed in using Canvas sites for each of the individual properties and how those play a role in the importance of kind of storytelling overall?
Yes. I mean, canvas are beautiful, as I said, are showcasing and our different brands in a different frame, but as well, it's not just looking better, it's performing better, because we know how important are videos. For
Yeah.
example, through Canvas, we have leveraged now on our website, and we have done it through digital content score, that every hero image, which was before on a homepage, has been replaced now with a video, must-have video, how we call it. This has impacted the time spent on our website very positively. Before, when
Mm,
we have seen that time spent on a website has increased, we were not sure if it means that guests are searching for more information or are entertained with what we have. But now, when we have must-have videos, when we have virtual tours, which is another brand new parameter for our digital content score, we
yeah.
have seen increase over 25%, and we just launched this in Q2 this year, because with the must-have video, which is around 40 seconds, we are showcasing our unique selling points, what we think as hoteliers is important. But with virtual tour, we leave the hotel guests or the guests just to decide where they want to go, what they want to see, and to envision
Sure.
them in this space.
I think that's really a fascinating way to approach an environment like the one that you're managing, which I imagine that some of our listeners are thinking about as well. You have a house of brands. You've got many different brands that have different ways that you want to showcase the experiences they have. So you've developed this very specific Canvas approach that allows for some unique customization for each of the different brands themselves. I'm really curious about how you take this notion of a digital score and actually construct it. Are you comfortable talking about at a high level? What are the inputs that you've developed? And really, this is again to help the listeners of this webinar understand a bit what they may take away themselves. One, we're really going to focus on how do we customize an experience, even when you're in a large global brand like Hyatt, for very specific brands in your portfolio, maybe the Unbound, maybe the Park Hyatts. And then underneath that, you're actually looking at content scoring, which is really fascinating. So how do you do the content scoring?
So the content score, it's I call it sometimes a Bible or a guide for our
Mm-hmm.
hotels. As I said, with over 200 hotels with different languages, at one point we knew that we have to measure and to see how can we support each of these hotels to perform, to drive more traffic and to increase conversion rate. So we started very little with the 10 parameters, being, do you have 5 room images for each category?
Yeah.
Is all the information which a sales coordinator needs on your MICE page? Do you have additional photos maybe for your area attractions and so on? Now today, a few years later, we have more than 100 parameters. We talk about SEO parameter, about personalization of the content. We are touching upon everything, like not only being quantity, we started with the quantity, now we talk about quality of the content. We're no longer just counting the images, we're giving them a direction. Is this presenting their brand? Is this presenting the room or the F&B outlet at their best? So, and with every quarter, we are sending this score to our hotels, and there is always, we are in digital, so we walk and talk data, and there is always addition because of how is everything evolving online like never before and right now. And it's so exciting time to see, to find out how can we be more visible on AI, what are our competitors doing, how can we showcase our suite in the best way so they can really see what is the value and the experience of it.
Yeah.
And again, we have as well experiences, which in my opinion are the best way to storytell or to give a story about our brands, because the experiences which we offer are very aligned with what Park Hyatt is, what the Andes is, and what the difference is. And once hotel guests have experienced it, we don't have to tell them more why is Andes different than Park Hyatt, because they know exactly that
Yeah.
a
They
graffiti.
can see it and feel it. Yeah.
Yes, a graffiti class won't be maybe offering for Park Hyatt, but for Andes Prague. And at Park Hyatt will have a very different and very sophisticated offerings. So this is how we measure through digital content score.
Yeah.
We let the hotels really to come up with their inspiration and their content because they know the product much better than we do. We can measure and give recommendations and make sure that they're visible, because if you're not visible today and relevant, you're not existing.
It's not there. So you manage that score with your team centrally, and then on
Yes.
a quarterly basis, you update each of the properties on what you believe that their ranking is, and you use that as a driver for them to improve the experiences they're putting forward.
Correct. And because we have seen the impact with increase of digital content score, how the conversions and time spent on website and engagement increases. So this is how we have built trust and reputation, so that our hotels are just waiting for the next score and the next parameter to add on. As I said, now our latest was as well with a focus on MICE to have virtual tours, not only for hotels with meeting venues and so on, but as well for hotels just to represent the product and our beautiful spaces.
Yeah, I love that. This is a nice segue as we think about this idea of the content score and the importance of rich visual assets. You've mentioned videos and virtual tours. I'd love to dive into immersive sales assets generally. And let's talk about virtual tours. I think that guests remember, and I say this from a very personal experience, guests remember how spaces feel more than the details themselves. So as you think about that idea of like, how do you help a guest, even before they show up, remember what a space is going to feel like so that when they get there, it matches their expectations? How do you think about immersive tools helping properties evoke those emotions and really land those memories even before the memories happen themselves?
Yes, and I can't agree more with this statement, because it's all about this feeling. And sometimes, or most of the time, we know we have positioned a hotel and we have guessed what our unique selling points are. But today and even before, we are so different, and what we see in the same space and how we use the space is as well very different from one guest to another. And this is where I really see the value of virtual tour, because from what we present through a video, it's just maybe the couple we have shown or chosen are too beautiful or not beautiful enough, or don't wear the dresses, just about this connection between what we sell and how guests feel about it. This is gone with virtual tour, because a suite or a room which we present there, maybe a lady or I would think about what a beautiful place for meditation in the morning. And my
Yeah.
husband might think, oh, perfect settings for whiskey and cigar. And a third person would think about, oh, I could propose this would be the perfect setting. And all these ideas are just happening because this is the dreaming phase, the best and the most exciting about traveling. And when we present a space like this, we don't know what we evoke, but we give a real immersive feeling or a outline of what our spaces are, and we let them be what and let guests decide of how to use them and how to make memories because we cannot decide for them.
I think this pulls the storyline of the importance of storytelling generally. It helps us make better decisions. I'm curious, are you seeing the results though? You've built out a content score, using that to drive behavior change at the property level in the brand specifically. We've just talked about immersive assets, how important they can be in making the decision happen and planting those memories in advance of them actually happening live. But are you seeing the data that shows that this is actually the most effective way to help your business sell more property?
Yes, for sure. And as I mentioned, I mean, first when we moved from static photo to video, we have seen more than 40% increase of time spent on a website. Now with the virtual tours being additional parameter, we have seen increase of RFPs, I must say almost a
Hmm.
double when we compare year over year, and time spent on a website around 25%. So this is what really drives me and what inspires me because it's not about the results, but for me this is also a luxury to make the journey to our for our guests, for the planners who are planning a wedding, seamless. This is
Mm,
also part of a luxury because getting to the product is as important as the product itself. And
yeah.
this is my passion in digital that everything should feel seamless and the travel should start in a moment you put and type www.hyatt.com.
Yeah, that's an enormous uptick. So you see a 2x increase in RFPs into the properties that are using immersive assets. That's on top of the increase in time spent in conversion that you're seeing when you're using videos. So it really is a step up. It's pretty considerable. Are you seeing this across all different property types, or is there a specific type of property that seems to do best when you're presenting a story using immersive assets?
This year, we have really focused on MICE content and B2B content
Hmm.
because we have observed that our website throughout, we more or less talk B2C. And
Yeah,
so we have really focused on how to optimize and enhance content on our MICE pages. So this virtual tour is as well part of it. And of course, this increase and its data can be always seen from different perspectives. But we see that the whole package and the whole recommendation which we provide to our hotels through digital content score, this is what makes the difference. And,
yeah,
and yes, I believe that this is also, as I said, planners, we help the confidence for planners has increased because people when they see the spaces they don't need as well more information and more emails and requesting different RFPs and
yeah,
I think and the RFP is just the first step towards signing the agreement, but already inspiring them to click on that button because we have provided all the information. They see the larger space in our hotel, they see number of rooms we have provided with a virtual tour and with all rich content on our website. So
yeah.
we give them no reason to go and find in a third party more about us or to look maybe for another option if we have if they have already considered us before and if they see that we are matched to what they look.
Yeah. Look, I think this is one of the most important takeaways from our discussion today. I'd frame it maybe as it is very easy to forget that there is a person who is the buyer behind the business. So that B2B experience and the consumer experience can really be the same because at the end of the day, it's a person that's making the decision. So if you're trying to create the best experience possible, and the stats that you have are quite impressive, 2x increase in RFPs, 80% more time on site, 45% more conversions, like that is an impressive result that should have an application in both the consumer and the business to business side. So I really appreciate you sharing all of that data. I think it's inspirational as we consider how do we help operationalize. If you think about storytelling, the ability to bring immersive assets and videos in as well to help drive the business forward. There's real concrete proof that you've just shared, which I'm very appreciative of. If we keep going down this discussion track of storytelling, we've taken this notion of how do you tell a story in the luxury space? How do you create some distinction inside of a canvas so that you can represent the brands effectively? How do you use a content score from a centralized location through your team to drive behavior change at the property level? And then the statistics that show that all of the things that you're doing are working really impactfully and powerfully. There's a very real question I think all of us are wrestling with that are in the hospitality industry, which is how do you balance technology with human touch, right? The idea of personalization has been around for a long time, but is personalization and the idea of bringing more and more technology compatible with the luxury storytelling experience that you care so much about, we all care so much about? So I'm really curious how you think about personalization and its relationship into the luxury segment, especially leaning heavy on the e-commerce side.
Thanks to AI, personalization is something we really we have integrated on our website, and we can find the right content for the right person in the right place. For example, if I would travel now to Great Scotland Yard and I have booked a room with my best friend with my dog, I will receive a recommendation for a dog experiences, which is dog afternoon tea at this property, which is amazing. And then, of course, a very important dog amenities. And I will even receive an itinerary of where to go with my dog, which museums and which restaurants are recommended. So for me, this personalization feels like a real luxury because these are things which are valuable for me. They are bringing more value to my journey, to my time, because time is money, but as well this inspiration of what to do in a place where you are not home, but you want to feel at home, but you've been given all the comfort of getting out of your comfort there, but feeling as well safe and experience things which are recommended. So we'll never go maybe sit in a restaurant and being shown the door because it's not pet-friendly restaurant, and to feel that through personalization and through all the recommended itineraries and suggestions that the hotel and is protecting me or giving me the creme de la creme experience I can have in London. This is something normally what money cannot buy, but we can because we trigger and we target with our personalization. And
so you really see it as an extension of the luxury experience, not something that is combative to it.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is the practical application of AI within your teams right now. It looks like you're using AI as the primary driver for your personalization engine.
Yes. Imagine, since we have implemented AI on our CMS, we have sent more than 4 billion recommendations. Imagine without AI, this would have been 10,000 people working for 3 years just doing content. And it's not.
But did you said 4 billion?
Yes. So, and this is across Hyatt.com. But and this is what it means that we need our hotel colleagues to come up with this inspirational content and tell us what they have and what their offerings is. But AI will help us to find the right placement and the right person at the right time and really convert this maybe intent into booking. And that's why it's so powerful. And we have even on Hyatt.com, when on a search, we have intent-based search. So if you look not just for destination, but maybe for a hotel in Dubai with EV charger, because you want to drive from one place to another, this is what you can look up there, or golf resorts, or things like we know how our customers are searching on Google or on AI, and we are mirroring, and we want them to feel at home as well on our brand.com and have the
Yeah.
results they are looking for.
I appreciate that very much. I think this notion of augmentation versus replacement is particularly important, especially as we're thinking about how we continue to adopt newer technologies, put into place tools that are powered with AI. Like, it really is about augmentation, and the idea that you can continue down that path of creating a great luxury experience using AI. I think this is wonderful proof that, in fact, this is a path that we should all be on if you're not already exploring that. Maria, I want to say thank you for you spending time with me having this conversation today. I want to share what I think some of the takeaways are, but before I do that, I wanted to place one question out there for you to think about for a moment, and I'll come back to it when we close things down. And that's, tell me the best experience and the best property that's attached to that experience that you've ever had throughout your entire life thus far. But before we get there, what I wanted to say is a very, very, very sincere thank you to you for sharing so much with us. Like, when you walked us through the importance of the way that we can manage a great storytelling experience all the way through from the top level brand, like a Hyatt brand that's powerful and global, through to sub brands, and how you can use a centralized team to create a scoring mechanism that helps incent better behavior, which ultimately produces better performance for each of those brands and the properties attached to them. You've done that all while sharing how through that entire experience, you can maintain the level of luxury that you expect the consumers to have. So customization and personalization can be a part of that story all the way through. We dove into the importance of continuing to extend that luxury experience by bringing in immersive assets, videos, 3D walkthroughs, and more. And what you shared with us was incredibly important, which is the proof is there. The data shows that investments in better immersive storytelling result in better performance, whether it's doubling the number of RFPs that you're able to respond to, improving the time on site, converting more people. It gives it upwards of 45% improved conversions. These are really powerful indicators that the investments that you make in telling a stronger story that's more immersive can implant the memories that your customers need to have, repeat them when they actually show up, and out of the bottom line, which I think is something that we all care about. And really critically, as we ended off the conversation, you shared with us some of the statistics around the level of personalization, the scale at which you're operating, utilizing AI as an organization, 4 billion plus instances of personalized recommendations being sent out, which add to the luxury experience that you're trying to present across all of the brands. These are really important takeaways for all of our listeners today. So Maria, I'm going to ask you now, what is that one experience that you look back on that you say, this is the best experience I've ever had at any property I've ever been to globally?
Oh my God, this is such a difficult question to answer, because I love I love our properties. I've been traveling. I've been fortunate enough to travel and to know our colleagues, and this is the most exciting part of when you travel to a place you don't know, but you have been in contact with the colleagues, and you've been welcomed in a way with, with beautiful amenities for my well-fed dog, a pack. I have a pack, and he can or she can travel with us only when after she's on a diet. So because cannot be taken on a plane, and with my twin girls, with amenities with their names on, with a bed for the dog, and you
Yeah.
arrive and you feel like, oh my God, this is something something what you're not expecting, and you're so surprised and delight, but as well it's such a connection for knowing that you're on vacation, but you want to spend and to go and to meet the colleagues and to say thank you, and in a moment where you don't service that, there is a gratitude for the time maybe
Yeah.
where you have supported them in a way. And this is what drives me. I see us here in corporate with my team that we are there to support our hotels and make their life and their operations easier, as we have just to give them magic they already provide with our guests too,
Yeah.
as well digitally, and to
Yeah.
present, because in a moment a guest has arrived in a property, they have them then it's worth of hired guests, because there is the magic where it happens. And my passion is just to provide this experience as well digitally.
Well, maybe a bit of an unfair question also to ask you to tell me which of your favorite properties exist within that portfolio. But I will say that the experiences that you receive as a guest at the Park Hyatts and the Unbound Collection, the Aliyahs, are better than all the rest, and they're absolutely lovely. You and your team are doing a wonderful job. So thank you for spending time with me today, Maria. I appreciate it very much. Thank you to our audience who spent time with us over the last almost 30 minutes, taking away some of these really critical learnings that you've shared with us. So thank you to all for listening, and thank you to the International Luxury Hotel Association for hosting us today. This recording will be available for replay on ilha.org. So if you want to share this out with other colleagues of yours to take away some of Maria's great learnings that she shared with us today, you can send that link over and replay this whenever you'd like. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Bye.
Meet the hotel industry's biggest leaders at Inspire Luxury Hospitality Conference. Back for its 16th year, Inspire 2025 is held in November in Prague and December in Las Vegas. It's the premier event for luxury hospitality. Land deals, learn strategy, and explore innovation. Visit us at inspire.ilha.org.